Oh, isn't it? Yes. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. It says it is. Oh boy, does it. This is our project. Trust me, it'll look way cooler when it's done. Way cooler. This is weird looking right now. It's not gonna be like that forever. You know? This is just how these things start. It's gonna get even better. We're gonna put some ink in it. We're gonna put some ideas in it. We're gonna do some corrections as we go. You know? I don't have to be as stressed today as I was yesterday. Yesterday was a little wild. One of those days where you find out what you're made of, what you can do. Apparently, I can get a lot of tattooing done in the morning. Not a full. I can't get a full tattoo done in the morning. But this was all from yesterday. That's a pretty good start. We got the whole outline. I guess I should do, to get it started, these swirls at the bottom while I still can. While I still have, the stencil on them. See, I didn't wash yesterday. Just like I promised. I told you I wasn't going to wash. I let you know right up front what was happening. So, if you can smell me, my apologies. You probably can't, right? You can't smell me, can you? I mean, maybe in spirit. Maybe you've got some vibe off me that I don't know about. And you can just tell that I smell bad just by looking at me. And if you're very sensitive, that might affect you. I can see that. If you can just, if you're so sensitive that when you see a stinky man on camera, your nose crinkles up. If you're like, he looks stinky. I get it. No problem. I'll shower tomorrow, You can come back tomorrow. I won't be stinky tomorrow. I mean, I'm going to shower today. But you know what I mean? Like, then tomorrow it won't be a problem. Just relax. Maybe plug your nose. If you gotta plug your nose, I won't be offended. 'Cause I can't see you. You. We're gonna fix that soon. I was thinking what we need is like a chat room for scratchers. That could be part of Scratcher's post. Is like, hey, if you tattoo yourself, there are other people tattooing themselves at the same time as you. Maybe you could hang out. And then when I come and do this, I can go over there and get you on here. That'd be fun. I mean, we all have cameras. Nobody who's given themselves a stick and poke these days doesn't have a camera. So, if you're going to tell me that you're giving yourself stick and pokes, I'm going to need to see some proof. And so are your friends. Your friends will need proof too. Because they're going to be like, you didn't give yourself that tattoo. And then that's when you go, no, no, no. I gave myself this tattoo and I took a picture. And I made a video. And then you can share it. And then you can Be cooler. Because the last thing you want is to give yourself a tattoo and have nobody believe you. Give yourself a tattoo and then people be like, no, seriously, who gave you that tat? You don't want that. You're going to need some proof. So, that's why we go to Scratcher's Post. You know, you've got skin and you've got ink in your skin. So get some proof that you did it. And then put it on Scratcher's Post. Or find a fellow Scratcher to chat with while you poke. That's a good time. It sells itself. I don't even need to go around telling people about it. Everybody already wants that, right? No? Okay. I know a good idea when I hear one. I don't know a profitable idea. I don't know what profits are. But I know a good idea when I hear one. He's going to have some swirls at the bottom of his cape to show that he's magical. Because otherwise he's just some weird... We don't want him to just be some weird, kooky bird with a robe. That's not what we're looking for. Nobody's looking for a kooky bird with a robe tattoo. That's not what we want. We're here for a wizard tattoo. So we gotta give his robe a little extra flair. Because it's all about looks for wizards. That's all they have. All wizards have in their life, you know, to show off to their friends, besides their magic spells, is how cool they look. You know, they grow their beard out, they get those fancy hats, they get their fancy robe and all their sparkly... What the hell? I got a cat licking her feet in the background. That doesn't make me happy. What is this? What is that? Nothing. There's nothing there. Forget I said anything. I should just focus on my poking. I don't have to go... I have my daughter right now, so I don't have to go pick her up after this. And my tattoo... The stencil of this tattoo is already completed. I could take my time with the rest of this. I could just poke around. Yo, good morning, Master Payne. I don't even have to, like, worry about this one today. Because if I stopped right here, I could still come back another time and finish this up. I've got the main components of this tattoo complete. The rest of it is all coloring, and this is going to be a bitch to color in. I'm going to be honest, I'm not excited about that. I mean, this thing is going to take some time. But luckily, with coloring a tattoo, you can go faster. Because you can just, like, you know, drill it. Don't sneeze on your tattoos. You're going to give yourself a disease. Does that make sense? I mean, there could technically be, like, some germs in your sneeze that aren't in your bloodstream yet, right? Maybe I don't know germs. Maybe I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a tattoo artist. I'm just me. But what I do know is if you sneeze in your tattoo, probably nothing will happen, actually. I mean, it is an open wound. That's what they tell me. They tell me that tattoos that you give yourself... Wait, no. They tell me that tattoos are open wounds. It's an open wound. You gotta treat it that way. What do you mean, treat it that way? I mean, it must not be an actual open wound if your advice about them is to think of them as an open wound. You know? Because if it really was an open wound, we would all just be worried. But if you're telling me that I need to treat my tattoo like an open wound, then, like, if a tattoo is an open wound, your advice should be, cover that thing up. Go to a doctor. Get stitches. Put some ointment on that thing. You know? That's what your advice would be if a tattoo was an open wound. But if your advice is to treat it like an open wound, then it's clearly not actually an open... You know what I mean? Like, it must not be that bad. I don't believe... I have a hard time believing that a tattoo is actually an open wound. Because if it were, you'd be like, whoa, go easy with that thing. Make sure to take care of that open wound. It wouldn't be like, hey, maybe you should think about this as if it were an open wound. That's just a weird piece of advice to... It's like that joke about how blank and blank is like the N-word for these people. And then he says, no, because one of those words we're not even saying. Like, one of those is clearly worse. An open wound is clearly worse than a tattoo. Or else you wouldn't be saying, treat that like an open wound. If it were an open wound, you would give me the clear advice that you give somebody who has an open wound. So, I think these are even... I just realized that tattoos are even safer. Giving yourself a tattoo is even safer than I thought it was before. After I cleaned mine with coffee yesterday, I was like, wait a minute. This whole thing is bust. I just busted open this whole case. There is nothing for me to realize anymore. Wait. That's not necessarily true, but you know what I'm saying. Stick and pokes are even safer than a regular tattoo. There's less holes in my skin. Look how many gaps there are. I'm not even, you know, you get a real tattoo at some dirty tattoo shop, and they're putting millions of holes in your skin. Easily, hundreds of thousands if you have a small tattoo. I've got maybe a few dozen holes in my skin, and they're all surface level. I got no ink leaking out of me. Apparently the infections that people are worried about getting with tattoos is like hepatitis and stuff. It's like AIDS. People don't want to get HIV/AIDS. But I'm not going to get that from myself. I'm the only one who's been in this chair. This is the safest tattoo you could possibly get, is when you give yourself. Because you can only give yourself the infections and diseases that you already have. I could share a needle with myself, and there'd be no problems. You know, things are getting a little tight, I've been thinking about maybe I should start sharing my own needles. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it might actually be a good idea. Start washing my needles and bringing them back around. There's nothing on this thing. If it was clean the first time, I can clean it again, right? Probably not. There's probably some science I don't know about. Maybe when blood ages on a needle, it develops. Maybe that's what HIV really is. It's just old blood. It's your own blood. Oh, it's like mad cow disease, maybe. Maybe I could get mad cow disease from a needle that I poked myself with yesterday. Probably not. I'm thinking probably not. I bet money, I would bet my whole paycheck, which is very small, that you cannot get mad cow disease from your own needles. So if somebody comes at me and tries to tell me, I don't think anybody would. Nobody has. I don't know why I'm even thinking mad cow is the thing to worry about. Has anybody gotten mad cow in the last 2 decades? I feel like that wasn't even a thing when I was conscious of diseases. Mad cow. No, I don't think it was. That was just the first scary disease. Mad cow was like the original COVID. They were like, everybody who eats burgers is a zombie now. Now it's anybody who breathes. These things sure do develop. If you breathe, you might be a zombie. If you watch the news, you're gonna get COVID. Hey, at least we can still have burgers, right? At least they didn't say people who eat burgers get COVID. Well, they kind of did. Joe Rogan said that. He was like, if you're out eating McDonald's, you're going to get COVID. I was like, Joe, I got to stop listening to you now, because I like McDonald's. When are we going to be allowed to talk about that? Are we allowed to talk about COVID yet? Or is it too soon? It might literally be too soon. Like, for the people's minds and for social media. I might get censored just for saying that word. No. Excuse me for the burps. You are allowed to burp on your own tattoos. That's okay. Nobody said you can't. This tattoo is going to take some time. I don't necessarily want to take my time with it, but there's a certain level of look, we got a lot of surface area to cover here. And I don't want to rush through it. You have no idea how sweaty I was yesterday. I got so sweaty from that conversation about alternative lifestyles. I mean, what a reveal. I'm going off about men and women. Have you ever tattooed your nail? What? Your nail? Like my fingernails? That's crazy. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, you picked a perfect time to get me off the topic of that wild situation yesterday. I'm gonna have to say something about it, or else I'm gonna get in trouble with my wife. Yeah, fingernails. Wouldn't you have to remove it? Wouldn't you have to remove your fingernail to tattoo that? That would be crazy. Ow! Fuck! Why did that poke hurt so much? Did I deserve that? Do I deserve this to hurt? Is something wrong with me? These never hurt. My bicep is so weak. Oh my gosh. That's a problem. That's gonna be a problem. I don't want this to hurt. I was just trying to have fun and poke myself. Now none of this ink is even getting in there. Oh, there it is. Owie. This isn't supposed to feel like that. I've seen it on YouTube or TikTok, but it's literally just in the nail, so it grows out. Oh. Oh, you put a tattoo in the nail? And then it's like a temporary, permanent tattoo? You could like tattoo your nails a whole color. You can color the whole thing in. That's kind of fun. That's actually pretty cool. But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do that. That sounds more painful. It might not be, though. It's actually... Should I try it? Should I try it right now? You dare me? If you dare me, I'll do it. Just kidding. I have work to do. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. That makes sense that you could put ink in a nail. I could see that. This is not supposed to feel that. I don't think it will hurt. No, you're right. I don't think it will either. I'm not going to do it. Because then I'll look like I have dirty fingernails. I mean, I do have dirty fingernails. But the least I can do is keep my surface. I don't know. It's an interesting point. That's an interesting idea. The fingernail tattoo. I just farted. Now if you can smell it, I'm sorry. That one's on me. That one's my fault. Oof. This is wild. This is not. This location is apparently more painful than I thought it was. I always thought it was. Maybe it's because I have so much muscle. Does this hurt because I'm so ripped? My forearm doesn't hurt this bad. The back of my elbow doesn't hurt this bad. But for some reason, right on top of my bicep is not taking these pokes very well. Ow. 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 I had some explaining to do after yesterday's conversation about vibrators and threesome relationships. I had to talk my wife off the ledge. Because, I'm a very open guy. Not like open, but not like open, but like, I like listen. I'm a listener. I don't try to make people feel bad when they're weird. Because we're all weird. We are literally all weirdos here. Anybody who gives himself a tattoo is a weirdo. So, I try to stay open. Open-minded conversations. But, when I'm talking about vibrators and pleasure with a woman who's in a threesome relationship on the internet, your wife's going to have some questions. And she's not going to ask questions. She's going to tell you what she thinks your answers are. you know? And then you gotta explain why those answers are the wrong answers to the questions she hasn't asked. You know? She's gonna be like, "You like that? Do you like that?" And then you have to explain why you don't like that. Which is fine. I'm happy to explain why I don't like that. I'm just not trying to get into a fight on the internet. I was just trying to talk about vibrators. Everybody does shit different. There's a lot of different ways to do shit. My sister likes burnt toast. You know? So yeah, there's gonna be some people out there in threesome relationships. Nothing you can do about that. You know, if people are out there grooming their dogs, giving their dogs haircuts, you're equal. You're gonna have an equal amount of people who want to have a relationship with multiple people. You know, that's a way to live life. Sounds stressful. Sounds extra stressful, if we're being honest. But, you know. I mean, I don't know how you have time to focus on your hobbies when you have multiple people to focus on. That's why I like having a wife. So I can just focus on her. And then on my hobbies. She already takes up a lot of my time. It takes up a lot of my time just to show my wife every day how much I love her. Not a lot of time. It takes like the right amount of time. That's why it works. It takes just the right amount of time for me to show her that I love her, so that I can go and do my hobbies later. You know. If there was another one, it would take twice as much time, at least. And then, not to mention all the arguments about, you know. But I would have to spend a lot of time convincing both of them that I love the other one more than them, or that I love them more than the other one. It would be a constant battle of like, no, I love you more. No, I love you more. No, I love you more. They'd be like, who do you love more? And then they would go, when I'm doing, in the small amount of time I have left to do my hobbies, they would be all chit-chatting about how he told me he loves me more. No, thank you. And that seems like it's like the whole point. Is they wouldn't even want me to love either of them more. They would just enjoy making me feel bad about not loving them enough. I mean, that's what a wife does. She doesn't really want you to, you know, spend all your time making her feel good. She just likes to see you react about how she's saying bullshit. So now you got twice as much of that, and then they're going and conspiring in the closet. The two ladies in the closet conspiring about how to make you feel worse. They're going to figure it out quick. They're going to figure out new ways you never thought of. You know, women are already really good at that emotion stuff. You put two of them together, they're going to figure out some shit about you, and they're never going to tell you. They'll never tell you to your face what they're doing to make you all crazy. And then you're just going to go crazy. And then those two ladies are just going to be looking at you all the time like, what is wrong with you? And then as soon as you turn around, they're going to be like, we got him good. And maybe that's, no, a woman would never admit that that's what would happen. And that that's what they want. You know, the ladies don't like to admit that the reason they are in relationships with men is so they have somebody to emotionally manipulate. They would never say that. So you're going to get a lot of people saying, no, that's not what we do. But, we all know what's happening here. It's pretty clear. You don't need to feel ashamed about it, ladies. You don't need to, feel bad about how you're, naturally manipulative people. That's just your nature. That's what you're here to do. That's probably rude. That's probably not the right thing to say. I'll figure it out. Hey, look, we almost got done with the bottom half of one wing. Almost. There is a lot of wing here. I'm really glad that this is the exact tattoo that I'm doing. But this is several sessions. This is going to take some damn time. I'm going to do those swirls again, too, before I'm not even going to finish the outline today. Maybe this wing will be finished being outlined. Possible. It's possible. But it's not, probably not. It'll probably still be need more pokes when it comes down to it. That's okay. No big deal. Because when it's done, when this one's done, it's going to be so cool. It's going to be so cool, I might get a compliment on it. I might get a compliment for this tattoo when it's done. It'll be the first one. It'll be my first compliment I've ever gotten for a tattoo. That's what I'm aiming for with this one. Is to finally hear somebody say, "Whoa, cool tat." And then I'll be like, "Who, me? Are you talking to me?" And that would be nice. If I do a good enough job, they won't even have to ask what it is. This could be one where somebody just goes, "Whoa, nice Zelda tattoo." And I'll be like, "Thanks." As much as I love telling people, yes, that is what this is a tattoo of, or explaining to people what it is, as much as I enjoy that, for this one, this will almost be like a test. When this one's finished, I'm going to find out who the cool people are. But I'll find the right one when it's the right time. You talking about women or tattoos? I missed something. I think I missed something. Either way, yeah, you're right. You will. You absolutely will. When it's the right time. The right time, oh. Bro, tattoos too. So you were talking about women. I love when things happen at the right time. Cause that's the right time. I don't know if there's a better reason than that. Right on time. Just like a wizard. You know, a woman is also never late or early. Yeah, she's always ready exactly when she means to. Is that the quote? Women are always on time. It's the expectations of the man that need to be adjusted. If you think a woman is late, well then you're just too early. You're moving too fast. You need to slow down. Men are always moving too fast. Always. We're always just so quick. Trust me. I know. You know, in some ways. You know, some ways. That's a good thing. Not always. In most ways, it's actually not. There's not really a good reason to just be too fast or too early. Unless it's an emergency. You know, in a good emergency situation, it's perfect. But we don't have a lot of emergencies these days. People don't have a lot of emergencies anymore. We're mostly chilling. We're mostly just hanging out. I mean, you could hang out your whole life and never face an emergency. It happens. People do that. That's a blessing, technically. Technically, that's a good thing. But if you have anxiety, or if you're always rushing through stuff, you know, a good emergency will make you shine. It'll make you like, that's why I'm like this. Is in case I need to save myself from death. Or serious injury. That's what it is. Not a lot of opportunities for that. I wouldn't call it opportunity, though, because that almost implies that you want it. You don't really want an emergency. But a good emergency will make you appreciate, you know, the simple things, like going too fast. Like, oh, finally. Now I can be appreciated for being too fast. And too early. Anyways, this doesn't really make sense anymore. Hey, look. We made it across the bottom half of the wing and down the robe. Probably I'll need to poke that all over again. Probably we're not even close to done with this guy. It's got a lot of lines. This little guy. Oh, that little guy? Don't worry about that little guy. Let's do this line right here. When I color this in, it'll all make sense. Then it'll all make sense. But until then, we are just gonna struggle through it and hope for the best. I'm gonna make sure that this line is clear before I put those spirals on there, because they're supposed to come up around the spiral. So, what you don't want is to make the spirals and then have that line like disappear within them and then lose them. And lose it, I mean. So I'm going to get this line first. And then I'll go back through and put those spirals on it, so it all makes sense. And then it will all make sense. Isn't that nice? Don't you just want it to make some sense? Isn't that all we're looking for? If you want it to make sense, if you want anything to make sense, don't come here. Because as soon as this starts making sense, I just change my mind about stuff. And I just like to flip it. If I ever catch myself being logical, being too logical, I just turn it right around. Just turn that boat around. I don't know. Actually, I actually am pretty consistent. I don't even know why I was saying that you shouldn't stick around if you want it to make sense, because this probably makes more sense than anything else in the whole world. It's what we're doing right here. No? Yeah, I think so. And when I catch myself being logical, I always, sometimes, most of the time, maintain. You don't just want logic, though. If you're just being logical, if you're just using logic to make decisions and ideas, you're going to miss the whole point of life. And I'm not saying that from experience. I'm saying it because my mom told me that once. It's because you're supposed to sort of use love and understanding and care to like make decisions and ideas. And then logic is there to reinforce those ideas and decisions. You know? If you're just using logic and there's no love there, it's probably a little evil, a little dark. You got some darkness going. If that's the only thing you can justify your ideas and decisions with is some logic, it's probably because it's the wrong thing. And you're just like, no, but listen, math, I'm right. Where if you start with love and caring and understanding, then you have that, and you're like, no, this is the right thing. This is right. And then, here, I can back it up with some logic. A truck name. If you haven't got a truck name yet, then I'll give you the one that I thought of when you first sent me the picture of your truck. Okay? But you have to tell me the name that you have decided isn't a good name. First, tell me a name that you don't like for your truck, and then I'll tell you what a better name is from the moment I saw your truck, what I thought it should be named. Okay? Because I need to know that you tried. And I know that's kind of like a mean dad approach to truck naming. But of all things for me to be a mean dad about, I think giving you a name for your truck is fair. That's a fair thing for me to sort of make you put a little effort in for first. But if you can give me a bad name for your truck, I'll give you the perfect name for your truck. You gotta name your truck. You gotta have a name for your car. Oh, Ruby. Can I tell you, did I give you that idea? Did I tell you that you should name your truck Ruby? Or was that your idea? Or did you just come up with that? Because that was literally the idea that I was going to give you. if when you said a name, my response was going to be, "Ah, that name sucks. You should name your truck Ruby." Did we already have this discussion? That's wild. That's wild. We're on the exact same page if that's the case. I can't wait to find out. Cause I is that really? That's what happened, huh? We're just on the same page? That's hilarious. That was my preloaded response. Yeah, your truck should be named Ruby. It's a perfect name for your truck. It's a good name for a truck, and your truck is ruby colored. So it's like, why would you not? Plus, it's kind of an old lady name, and you got like an old lady of a truck. Not really, though. I mean, old lady for 2022, but if I had your truck back in 2011, when I was, putting around, I'd be like, I got lucky. That's a lucky, you got a good truck. That thing's gonna run forever. I mean, maybe, I don't know. It could be a piece of shit. That's funny. My first car was a 1983 Tercel, a Toyota from the 80s. So I don't know what year your truck is. It's not really an old lady name, but it's like a dog name, right? I've never met an old lady named Ruby, I'll be honest. So it's not really. But yeah, it's a good dog name, so it's a good truck name. It's like an ant. 2002. Yeah, that's nice. That's real nice. You don't really want something too new, because that truck probably doesn't even have. It's a race truck name now. Yeah, yeah, you're right. It is. Your truck probably doesn't have like a computer in it, huh? That's probably one of the last few years where you could still work on a truck. 2002. I would bet. I don't know anything about trucks, but that's probably something you could fix if it broke. What you don't want is a car that when you break it, you have to take it to there's only one guy who can fix it. That's where we're going. That's the road we're headed down. Is nobody being able to fix their own damn trucks. So, good for you. That's cool. And it's pretty. It's honestly like a very pretty truck. I mean, I prefer a good 90s truck, technically. But I think that's just natural that's when I'm from. So everybody sort of likes the trucks from when they were little. So I bet you actually love your truck, because you were a very young boy when that was a new truck. Okay. I'm going to turn this off soon. I'm going to finish up this like torso piece, and I'm not going to get into that next. But I'm glad we figured out this truck thing. That was cool. That was a nice little. We're in sync. That's called synchronization. Remember that? We learned that a while back. Scratcher style. Scratchers synchronize. Like that. Yeah, I'm gonna finish up this torso. I was in my mom's belly when my uncle got it off the lot. Aw. Dude, that's a magic truck. You got yourself a magic truck. That's dope. See? That's what it's all about. That's what you want in this world. A little bit of family, a little bit of magic, and it all works out. Feel bad for people who don't have those things. There's a lot of people out there who have no family, no magic, but you could change that. Anybody could change that any day. You can make some family, and you can make some magic. You just need Jesus. Or whatever, however you say Jesus in your language. I'm sure there's other cultures that appreciate the true one and only God. It doesn't just have to be in the English language, but it should be from the Bible. You know? Anyways, alright. No, you take it easy, and I hope you have a good day. And, give Ruby a pat on the ass for me. Next time you walk by Ruby, give her a smack on the ass, okay? And tell her she's a good girl. This is gonna be a long tat, but I'm glad that I get to relax with it a little bit now that the outline's done. Okay. I've gulped my coffee. That means I can go now. Lots of love. Only love. Oh, we got a cat in the background. Hey, Sancy.